What is up? What is going on, everybody? Happy Saturday. Happy February 17th, y'all. It is the weekend. Hopefully you crushed your goals this week, or better yet, you crushed all those tasks that lead to you accomplishing your goals in 2024. I'm Johnny Lynum, the military CEO, founder of REI Genius, and today we have a special guest with us, my brother Gene Boykin from the Go Getter family, and we're going to be breaking down how to become the bank. We're going to be talking about breaking the money code and the upcoming event that Gene is hosting down in Houston. I'm gonna be blessed to be able to be in attendance to talk multifamily, raising private capital as well too. But before we bring Gene up and go into that, one of the things that's super special about February 17th is it's my mom's birthday. And so for those that know me, you know that I lost my mom a couple of years ago, and for me, it's one of the sources of my motivation. When you talk about facing adversity and being able to overcome it, like that is the epitome. Losing a parent, losing a loved one is one of those things that will it'll shape you. And if you're not grounded, if you're not rooted, guess what? It'll definitely break you. And so that's one of the things that today definitely wanted to salute her, because the man that you see today, the man that you see walking around every day, you wouldn't see him without her, without my dad. And everything that they gave me in regards to what to stand on from a business perspective, from an ethics perspective, from a family perspective, with what's number one, with being able to take care of family, the importance of being there to support one another, to hold one another up, and to know that you can be great. Whether you're and that was one of the quotes that she always told me, like whether you're the CEO or whether you're cleaning floors and cleaning toilets, be the best at whatever it is that you're doing, and do it with all your heart, with all your might. And guess what? And the rest will take care of itself. And that has held me down my entire life. And I have found that true with being able to put in the work, whatever faces you, knowing that you're more than a conqueror, and that you can lean back on your faith, and you can lean back on your family and those around you, your family. And I say family, that yep, blood family, but then also that family of close associates, close friends around you that don't necessarily have the same blood as you, but you're on the same mission in life. And so that's what this is all about when we started talking about real estate investing and doing it, because my why has always been family, and I tell people that we don't have as much time as we think we do, because guess what? I would have loved for her to still be able to be here to be able to bask in all the success, to see it all, to know all her work and sacrifice, working two jobs was not in vain, being able to pour into me, and now me being able to take the baton and keep running, and to pour into other people, to help other people change their lives, to help them see that there's another way to live life without having to trade your time for money, and being able to build on all of the past successes of those that came before. So super humbled to be here today and just reflect on her life, her journey, everything that she gave me to be able to give everybody else out here. And we're going to be giving all that in Houston this week. I'm going to bring my brother up, Gene. We're going to talk about that and how to break the money code. Because I tell you, this real estate investing, being able to learn how to operate and buy assets, control assets, will change your life. Will literally change your life. And that's what we're pushing, and that's what we're sharing, because it's so important, because they don't teach this stuff in school. They do not teach this in school. They teach you how to become an employee, to guess what? Go work and build somebody else's dream that started a company, to go and support their dream. But we're teaching people how to build their own dreams, how to bet on themselves, how to become better leaders, and how to become overall CEOs of their last name. And so without any further ado, that's what we're doing. But I would be amiss if I didn't take the time to salute my mom and honor her legacy and everything that she's put together. And hey, we're still running the race. And guess what? It's still more work to do. What's the quote that Nipsey Hussle? Well, I forgot that one, Gene. What did Nipsey Hussle always say?
Oh,
Yeah, I know it
Nipsey,
was something.
it's a
Yeah,
marathon,
Nipsey
man.
had yeah, it's a marathon. That's it. The marathon continues. That's it. That's it.
Yes,
That's it,
sir.
brother. How you doing today
Yes,
on this
sir.
Saturday, man?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great, man. And happy heavenly birthday to your mother, man. Man,
Thanks,
she
bro.
I feel like I have to say this. She most certainly will be proud of the man that you are, and both my parents passed away too, at different times. So
Mm.
so yeah, so carrying that name on, you know, and what you say, being the CEO of your last name, you know, it's important, but it speaks to, you know, how we were raised. So
Right.
kudos, man, to her.
Most definitely, bro. I appreciate that, man. How to break the money code. It's Houston, bro. I'm fired up now. Like, I'm like, how am I going to sustain this for the next week? You know, or just to go on, because I'm going through my slides in my head. I'm walking through the house talking. My kids think I'm crazy, but I'm like, it's that serious because this may be the only time people in the room get to see us. And I want them to know that this is life or death. This is that serious what we're talking about. We're being able to step in to learn how to break the money code and what that means for each and every one of them.
And it's about the room that you put yourself in and the proximity to the information that's going to close that gap. If we feel like there's a gap and we want to change something, we've got to be in the rooms that are going to allow us the connections, the network, and most definitely the information to be able to bring more value. And at the Break the Real Estate Money Code event live in Houston, man, I'm telling you, now this is going to be epic with the people that are there. You know, you, Ike, myself, talking about land trust, subject to, with the paperwork, going through the paperwork, quiet title actions, and then buying free foreclosures, and then you coming in with the multifamily. I truly feel like this is going to be the most impactful event of 2024. And just what I mean by that is impactful in the people that come and learn this. When they go out into the real estate world, they're going to be able to have that major impact. So I'm super excited, man. Super excited.
Yeah, man. And I think that's the thing. You summarized it. Like, so many people, that's the thing. Because if it was left up to information and having the information already, we all be running around here with a six-pack. We'll all be multimillionaires and we wouldn't have a care in the world. But guess what? You need more than just the information. You need the context. You need people around you and the experience in order to help you get through the challenges that you're going to face. Because you're going to face the challenges. Just because, you know, they see the big numbers, the multi-million-dollar portfolio, the over 100 units owned and all that. But like, it takes work. It doesn't, nobody gives you that. You don't wake up and they're like, hey, Mr. Lynum, I've been waiting 10 years for you to call me. You finally reached out to me. I want to sell my house to you for 50%, 50 cents on the dollar. And I'm going to owner finance it for you. And we're going to close in 3 weeks. But guess what? If you ain't got it all together, we're going to give you an extra week, Mr. Lynum, because I've been waiting on you that long. No, it doesn't happen like that. We get out here and we make this happen. But guess what? If you never done it before, you need someone to teach you to make it how to make it happen. And they don't teach you this in school. And guess what? If you don't go out here and learn how to make it happen, you're going to stumble your way through it. You might figure it out. And guess what? You're darn sure not going to figure it out in an expeditious manner where you can go in and accelerate your journey. And so that's the thing that we're trying to put the onus on people to understand, that it's serious business. Because guess what? Your time, you think you got enough time left? You don't. We all, you think about the average lifespan, depending, you do the math. I'm not going to count your years for you. But if you look at the law of averages and where the average man and woman lives, look at where you are. Subtract how many days you got left on the earth potentially, and then think about it. If you're sleeping 6 to 8 hours a day, that's a third you can count off that time. Take on and subtract it. If you're working for somebody else, there you go. Subtract another 8, 10, 12 hours for somebody else. Now you think about it, them days that you got left, you only got like 6, 8 hours to live for yourself. Are you gonna watch Netflix for 4 or 5 hours each day doing that? Are you gonna be on social media 2 hours each one of those days and ignoring your kids, ignoring your family, ignoring vacations, ignoring travel? I don't know, but guess what? You can sit back and be distracted by the Super Bowl, the NBA All-Star weekend, and watching everybody else live their best life that they train and proven themselves over the years, and now can operate at a high level, or sit back and watch reality TV for hours on top of hours, looking at other people live their life and entertain you, and why everything else is crumbling alongside you. So if you're content where you are, guess what? Don't worry about how to break the money code. But if you're not content and you're ready to go, you're committed to make it 2024 different than 2023, whatever that was, then hey, I can't think of no better place that's going to be talking about how to build wealth, how to establish a business, and the systems and processes. And the crazy part, and actually having winners in the room that have taken it and implemented. Talk about that, because that was dope.
Yeah.
We were kind of going through everything, but I'm huge on recognition and recognizing excellence.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. And that's the difference of one. My mentor says this, Lou Brown. That if 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 we sometimes when we apply ourselves enough, we're lucky enough that the universe gives us bits and pieces of knowledge to help us break the money code, right? But the main thing in that is applying ourselves enough. So in the room, next week in Houston, there's going to be a ton of my students that have done deals and that are doing deals, right? In the midst of doing deals right now. And they came in to the go-getter family not knowing anything about real estate, a lot of them, but they knew that they wanted something different in their life. They wanted different results. And if we want to change the results that we're getting, there's a few things that we're going to have to change. The first thing is changing ourselves, right? We got to change ourselves. Then we need to change the environment that we're in, right? The people that we're around. And then we've got to change the information that we're taking in, that we're letting into us to seep into our energy. Like you said, man, Super Bowl, NBA, reality shows. Is that what we want to take in? Or do we want to take in the energy and the information that's going to push the needle forward to us getting to our goals? Take Portia Nunley for an example. Now, Portia, she's a nurse and she has her doctorate in nursing in Mississippi. And she actually just won the election in her county for alderman in her county. And then, not 2 days later, she was giving a family the opportunity at affordable home ownership that they just moved in yesterday. Actually, they did the closing, the signing ceremony. There's a family of 4 kids, a husband and a wife, and they're on rent to own, right? Rent to own when they wouldn't have had that opportunity to even get home ownership. So Portia's been able to go out there and affect her community in a lot of different ways. And having your doctorate in nursing, that takes a lot of work. And you're in a life of service, that entire career, a life of service. And nurses, I know, are overworked, and but overworked, but tenacious, committed, smart, yes, capable, all of the above. And now Portia has the right information to build a legacy for her and her family, because that house that she provided that affordable home ownership with, that was actually a foreclosure. And it was in foreclosure. And we came in and we stopped that auction a couple of days before the auction, helped that family out, saved their credit, put some money in their pocket, and got the opportunity to provide affordable home ownership. And then Portia's got an asset for the rest of her life that she'll be able to pass down. No credit checks and very, very little money out of her pocket. We're actually operating in the red already, right? So it was a little bit over $5,000 to acquire this property, and it has a little bit over $100,000 in equity and about $700 a month cash flow. And we got that money back by getting a down payment, an option fee from our buyer. So, I mean, it's pretty much, the epitome of buying a free foreclosure. And I'm going to be teaching you guys that at the How to Break the Real Estate Money Code event. But this is one of the things, man, that we've got to understand, that because I understand that it's difficult out there right now. It is like, people see us, Johnny, and they think, we're rich and we're successful and it's easy. And oh my God, those guys are lucky. And, but it did not start like this. We've got to understand that. Yeah, it didn't start like this. We had to take those risks when we didn't have time, because we had to work and we have families and we have bills and we had to make money for those bills. But we had to find the time to get out and to learn something new because we wanted something different. So that is, and that's just one of the stories. We've got a student together, Dr. Joel McLeod.
Yep.
Yeah, he'll be there. I saw him in your slides yesterday. I saw him. Yeah. And he's in my slides. So he's in your group. He's in my group, and he's been getting a ton of results. A ton of results. So if you're a busy professional, this is the place for you, right? If you're tired of those golden handcuffs and you want to be able to control your time, those golden handcuffs are something else now. You're getting paid so much money, to be there giving your talents to that job or to that corporation. But that money doesn't make any bit of difference if you can't even enjoy it, right? You can't enjoy it. You can't enjoy that time with your family. And if you have talent, if you're talented enough to even have a pair of golden handcuffs, Imagine what you could do for yourself with
Ooh.
information.
Ooh, that's it. That is it. And you know, and that's the epiphany that I had. And you know, and I talk about it in my book that because you know, I grew up, you know, my mom, they had the best information they had, like, hey, go get a good job, work for the government, hey, save some of your money. And like my dad said, don't take any wooden nickels and keep moving. And you know, and so that was the mindset. But I was like, okay, I got out there and I'm like, hold on, this is a whole nother world, it's a whole nother ball game out here after I bought my first property using my VA benefits. And you know, and going in 2015, it was like, you know what? After negotiating a multi-million, we negotiated that contract. That contract was over $200 million and saved the government well over 10 million. Wow. And guess how much my bonus was, bro?
How much?
Man, zero. You don't get no bonuses in the military. You get family day. You get family days. You turn 3-day holidays into 4-day holidays. That's what you get.
Oh my God.
And yeah, bro. So that's it. And so you know what? That showed me is like, hey, it's something like you said. You have this talent. You know what you're doing. You've proven yourself. Like, hey, can you go build a business and take this with its consulting? And for me, it was like, okay, let me go start flipping houses and putting a system around it. And so that's the venture that we went on. But we started with one house. Guess what? We didn't start with 120 units. We started with one unit, one deal. We sold it. My lender made more money in the deal than I did. But guess what? My lender he didn't learn more than I did in that deal. And I still take to every deal that I'm going into. And so, and I take that experience and I give it to all my clients, the people that's in my community around me. They don't have to make those mistakes. That I'm going through the mistakes, then how I went through doing all the flips, doing them virtual, buying the $25,000 rental houses sight unseen in Birmingham, you know, going into multifamily without having a mentor and going and scaling up over the years. They get all that. They get all that without having to live it and go through it. And guess what? Now they have that wisdom and now they can move and accelerate their journey where it took me 15 years to get there to build up to it, that they can do it in way less amount of time. And so that's the thing that like people, we get trained and get beat down that we're not good. You know, we start off with all these dreams as a kid. And over time, like you're dumb, you're stupid, or you can't do this, you failed this test. But guess what? Every test is an open book test when you graduate and you get out here in the real world and you're working with teams and there ain't no such thing as copying because you're coming together and collaborating because nobody's making a decision in a silo by yourself. And so that's the thing. It stunts your growth. And now instead of you being in a collaborative mode, you're in a competitive mode. And it holds you back until you can have that transformation internally that you're going to hold back your success. And I tell people like everything that we got today right now has gotten us this far. In order to get to the next level, in order to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve in your life that you haven't done before, you got to get new information and you got to get around new people. Because if you're in the same environment, guess what? You're not going to change your environment. Your environment is going to continue to change you and drag you in to conform to it. And so that's the thing that I'm super passionate about and telling people there's a better way, there's a different way. And so many people right now, when we start, I work with a lot of veterans and retirees. And so a lot of people on the older, you know, more wise, I'll say. I won't call them older, but the wiser. And the game and how life was set up with the pensions and all that, when they started the race, it's different now. And so many people are going off old information. Look at how much inflation, how much, you know, Coca-Cola, what they say was a quarter, and now you get less of it for $2. They give you 12 ounce, 16 ounce for $2 or something. You know, bread's more expensive, gas, and all this stuff. If you think about it, the dollar is becoming less and less valuable, and you don't own any assets. Because guess what? Now it takes more of those dollars to buy that asset. That's why real estate is going up. When we printed all this money in COVID, now it takes more of those dollars because the dollar's worthless. They printed too much of it. And so now you got to buy assets. You can't be buying liabilities. You can't be investing in handbags and shoes and $100,000 cars. How about you go buy a $100,000 rental property that's going to pay you $500 a month and go buy the car with the cash flow, the passive income that you don't have to work for. And now that's how you break that cycle. You're spending passive income and not spending earned income that you're making by trading your time. And so that's the thing, man, that we got to get people to see. There's a different way.
Yeah, and one of the problems is you know, school, and I mean you're a published author, you know, talking about how school taught us wrong. And so in school, we study and we memorize, just for one answer, right? A multiple choice, but then there's just one answer is right. So that in and of itself is wrong, that they teach us that there's only one answer to a problem or to a question. I mean, there's always more than one answer, more than one way to skin a cat, as they said. But you study, and then you take the test, right? So that's different. That's backwards from life. Life is, it's the test first, and then you learn. Yeah, you learn after the test. So it doesn't prepare us for what's really out here, and what's really the opportunities that we have to really control our life, man, control our energy, control our time. But we've got to be willing to go through that test, and as I've heard you say before, fail forward, right? And I look at it as an opportunity. When something doesn't go the way that I want it to go, that's a great opportunity for me, because now I'm going to understand the right way moving forward for the next time that I do it, right? The next time, because I'm going to keep going. So if it didn't work the way that I wanted it to this time, well, then I'm going to learn, where those holes were in my thought process or in my strategy. I'm going to fill those holes, so that way the next time I'm in that situation, guess what? I already know what to do. Boom. And it's a great feeling to be able to do that. Now, if you're out there on your own, trying to do this, I kind of liken it to being in a dark room, searching for that light switch, but it's dark, you can't see. So you're running face first into the wall, but you're searching for the light though. See, that's the thing. You're not just running in face first into the wall just to do it. You're seeking, you're searching. And the light switch is going to be in Houston, February 22nd, through the 25th at the How to Break the Real Estate Money Code event. And the difference, guys, real quick, I talked about the difference with school, right? And how the test happens in the real world first, and then we learn. Well, when we work, right, we feel like you work a job and you get paid for your time, right? But when you're an entrepreneur, you don't get paid for your time. You get paid for your results. So you get paid for your results. So you could put in, a lot of time to get this one result, or you can collapse that timeline. You can collapse it and put in a little bit of time and have a major result and get paid for that. So forget about getting paid for your time, because there just isn't enough of it. And being able to get paid for your results, it will absolutely unequivocally change your life, because it's dang sure changed mine now. Woo, we live a good life.
Yeah, that's it. That is facts. That is facts. And I think people just fail to realize how much they can do. And I think that's the big thing, that for those that are betting on themselves, that they're gonna be able to get there. But a lot of people, man, that was the biggest thing that kind of came with me with all of it. That everybody's not gonna see it. Everybody's not gonna see it. Everybody's not gonna go, and everybody doesn't want to go, and that's okay. And for me, that was the big part. Whereas that you want it so hard for people, but they can't even see it from themselves. And it was something that Les Brown, he said that it's okay, because guess what? Unfortunately, in life, most people won't participate in their own rescue.
Ooh.
And they gave me all the peace I needed. They gave me all the peace, because Les Brown's, I think he's 79 years old. He's almost 80 years old. He's been there, done that, gave hundreds of motivational speeches, talked to people, corporations, research, and all that stuff. He's like, most people won't participate in their own rescue. And that's so true, unfortunately. And that's why you see only 5% that they say are successful with anything. Yeah. We're not even just talking about real estate, but just successful at really successful at a high level. It's only 5%, because so many people quit, distracted. If you think about the system and television and social media, it's all purposefully crafted to grab your attention. And guess what? When it grabs your attention, that means your attention is not on something else that's probably a little bit more important. And if you're not able to kind of stay focused, and that's what I love about my accountability groups, they're in the weeds on a weekly basis. We're keeping tally, we're keeping KPIs, we're tracking it, and we're holding people accountable. Because guess what? If you're not showing up, then guess what? If you're not doing the work, you're not making one offer a week, then 6 months from now, you're probably not going to have a multifamily deal. But if you're building a team, you showed up every week, your marketing, your networking with brokers, guess what? It's highly likely you're gonna have that deal at the end of the road. And
Yes.
it's simple, but it's hard
Mhm.
at the same time. And I think that's the thing, man. 4 days. Talk about what they're gonna get in the 4 days. Because you think about it, for a 4 day event, real estate focus, you're out of your normal environment. You're coming into an
Mhm.
environment full of high level people that's on the same mission, almost like the military. We all got the same mission. We're working. We're there learning. Because I'm learning too. Because my goal is I want to do. I'm putting out. I want to do 5 pre-foreclosure deals this year with my company in Panama City.
Ooh,
I want to do 5.
yes.
Like, because I've been
Work.
sleeping on it. And I'm like, we get the list, we market for them, and we got our other strategies and stuff. But I'm like,
Mhm.
it's a no brainer. It's a no brainer. But that's the thing. Talk to us about the 4 days, the immersion, and everything to go into, because it's not your first event. It's not your first rodeo. And so I
Right.
know you coming back with a punch.
Yes, yes. Well, what I said it earlier, we kind of fail forward, right? And we learn from if certain things don't work the way that we wanted them to work. Now, the first How to Break the Real Estate Money Code event was spectacular, magnificent. And there's a lot of wealth built from that event up until this event. And there's actually going to be a good number of people at this event that were at the August, How to Break the Real Estate Money Code. They didn't have houses. They weren't quite yet investors, but they were gaining the skills to become investors. Well, guess what? Now they're real estate investors because they've got these assets now. They made moves, right? They learned. And so
Mm.
these 4 days, the last event was 3 days too. And I had so many people coming up to me afterwards, and they were just like, oh man, I wish that it was longer. We wanted to stay. We don't even want to go. I was talking about it last night. I was talking to two of my people that were there as a brother and sister duo. And I asked them then, I said, well, how long do you think it should be? They said, oh, I don't know, about a week. I said, hold on now. just hold on a second. But so this time though, we did 4 days, and it's in a sequential order. And I mean, I want you guys to think about this. The way that I present is I feel like it's definitely participative, right? So you're not going to be sitting there bored, just taking notes, kind of nodding off. You're going to be participating in your own rescue, as Johnny had said, with the great less, so these are going to be interactive presentations. The energy in that room is going to be electrifying because it's really high level, top notch entrepreneurs and top notch professionals from around the country converging on that one room. So the connections that you're going to be able to make just from being there is going to be priceless in and of itself. We've got people from the last How to Break the Money Code event that connected and have made a lot of money since making that connection with each other. But on top of that, guys, we're going to give you your workbook, the How to Break the Real Estate Money Code workbook. And that thing is definitely worth its weight in gold. Okay. Because what we're doing, one, it's at the Sheraton North Houston, George Bush Intercontinental Hotel. And that's literally 2 minutes away from the airport. And we did that intentionally because we're not bringing you here to have a tour of Houston and to go party and have a good old time. We're bringing you here to change the outcome of your income and to really change your life forever if that's what you want to do. So you're going to get the actionable knowledge that you need, the actual steps, repeatable processes. That's the whole thing about it. If it's not a repeatable process, well, then you're kind of, again, feeling your way around in the dark. So we're going to give you, the Buying Free Foreclosures, like Johnny mentioned, and we're going to run through that entire thing. And I'm going to show you how you can be invincible with any government-backed loan that is in foreclosure. You can be absolutely unequivocally invincible until October of 2024. I'm going to show you how you can stop any auction. And I'm going to give you the exact words that you need to say. So you're not really going to have to come in and do anything new, right? Or come up with anything on your own. You're just going to have to be able to follow a process. And then I've been talking about this too. We've had a lot of results lately, a ton of results of people getting, just crazy deals, almost unbelievable, and if I was just sitting there saying it, most people wouldn't believe it. And I couldn't blame you for not believing it, but the good thing about it is when you got the receipts and the actual people and checks, houses, well, if you don't believe it at that point, well, you're just blind or you're in denial, right? So, but I've been talking about this. Now we're moving into the phase of what is our wealth building strategy. right? Our wealth building strategies. How are we going to protect our assets and segregate that risk from each other, that asset segregation, in order to have less risk on our wealth? Because now we're going from, hey, let me just get my first deal and let me just get my first house, to now looking at the big picture and seeing, how do I want to build my wealth over time, and what type of arc do I want my wealth to be on versus, the time that I have to put into it. If I don't want to put that much time into it, how much wealth do I want to build based off of that? So we're going to teach you guys how to really have a wealth building strategy to build a multi-million-dollar real estate business. And just like Johnny said, he's going to be taking some notes on the Buying Free Foreclosures and implementing that. I've been telling him, when he's up there speaking, I'm definitely going to be in there with my notebook, because the next level up for me and then for my people would be the multifamily, right? By getting multifamily properties, and then also utilizing private money, right? Whether we're investors and we're putting that money in, or we're raising that private capital. So the information that you're going to have there, man, it's yes. really is going to be life changing. Really, I'm super excited. And then
100%, man.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah,
man.
talk about everything. Yeah. I tell everything Ike's bringing.
So Ike is he's DISC certified, and DISC is a behavioral analysis, right? And it looks at the different types of behaviors. But what it is Ike works with CEOs, with corporations and their leaders in order to manage their teams properly and have their teams running in a cohesive manner. And he does that all around the country. And what I love about Ike is, he's certified in DISC, he's certified in the 6 Working Geniuses. And if any of the viewers know my team, I call them the Go-Getter Family Real Estate Avengers. My team, I feel like, is perfect, right? It's perfect because every person is in a position where they can work towards their strengths. Because if any of you guys, that are watching have had a job before, and you're doing that job, and there's just certain things about that job that you just don't like to do, but then there's certain things that you kind of love to do. You're like, oh man, I can't wait till I'm done with this so I can get over here and do that. I really like doing that. Right. Well, it is imperative, if we're going to build a team, that we can identify those strengths and identify those weaknesses, and then we can put that person in a position that's going to optimize those strengths and minimize the weaknesses and let them work at their highest level. And so Ike brings that to the table in a level that is unbelievable, man. He has helped me and my team tremendously. So one other thing about Ike is he's actually a natural introvert. Right. Ike is an introvert, and he speaks on stages all around the country, in front of groups all over the place. But being an introvert, you would think, well, how in the world, can you do that if you're an introvert? So he's actually going to help teach the people, that are introverted, how to be able to just set that to the side just momentarily, so that they can go out there and execute what they need to execute to get to the level that they want to be at. And then they can get right back into that shell and re-energize, and kind of utilize that when you need to. So you talk about team building, negotiation, and then identifying, behaviors that are going to help you in your negotiation and your team building situations, man. So that's why it's about the wealth building here. And then going into the multifamily and the private money with you. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, man. And that's the thing. Like, people don't realize, and the Bible says that iron sharpens iron, and people don't realize that everything that you want is somebody that you don't know right now that has it. Whether it's money, it's resources, it's the property, the deal that you're seeking that you want to buy. It's somebody that you don't know that owns it. And so the more people that you can tell what it is that you're looking for, like I tell people, like, hey, I love to buy across the state of Alabama, 40 units and below, value add, fixer up apartment buildings. That I'm your guy. When you think of that, think of Johnny. We had somebody literally called us about a vacant apartment they ran across. They soon as they saw it in Birmingham, and they were like, I thought of you guys, and she called my wife, and I'm like, that's the thing. Like, you got to share that secret identity. You got to take that 2-piece suit off, and you got to come out with your cape. And some people out here need saving, and they're looking for you. They're waiting for you because they don't know what to do. These people in pre-foreclosure, they don't know what to do. They don't know what their options are. A lot of them, they're stuck in denial and that
Yes.
whole analysis paralysis. And so you're creating win-win situations. And I have never bought a house where somebody was hesitant. They're more happy that you're buying the house than I am. I'm like, well, shoot. I'm like, yeah. And they know you're going to make money. It's not a secret.
Right.
But because at the time, the thing with that asset, that pain is more than the money that you're going to make. Like, they need to get on with their life. It may be causing strain on their relationship with their spouse. It's causing stress dealing with the tenants. All that. You're relieving all kind of things outside of just the money aspect that you just don't know the bondage and everything that's tied to this when you come in and give people a second chance to give them relief that they're looking for. It just so happened that it's a piece of real estate that's causing the challenge in their life.
Right, right. And if I could now, so this is what we base our whole investment strategy on. Is we don't come into a situation and intend on bargaining, right? And bargaining is just saying, oh, looks like the property's worth this much, so let me do some numbers, here's how much I can give you. And then they come back, well, no, that's not enough, you know, I want this one. That's bargaining. And we don't do that because we are solving people's problems, solving people's real estate problems, where this real estate has gone from being an asset to a burden in their life, right? Because there's always a cost. There's carrying costs with real estate in some way, shape, or form, even if it's owned outright. So what I love the most, man, about what we do is that we are literally having a normal conversation with a person, you know, that we're about to help, right? Help tremendously. And the result of us being able to have a solution for their real estate problem is we get an asset as a result of that. And everybody in the situation is better off for it. And so not only are you going to get the opportunity to learn how to do that conversational negotiating, where you're just having a normal conversation, but we just lead that conversation how we need to lead it. And I'm going to give you guys the tools to do that, but you get to feel good about yourself. I mean, and that's the best part to me. You get to feel great about yourself because you actually helped these people. And then you get to help your community by providing that affordable home ownership to the community. So it's really ethical capitalism, you know, and real estate's the best place to have your money.
Oh, I love that. I love that, brother. Ethical capitalism, because it can get kind of grimy out here with the bottom line. Guess what? It's all about the shareholders, and they got to lay off 20,000 people. Like Capital One a couple of weeks ago, lay off 1,500 people. And guess what? Because it's capitalism. They're beholden to their shareholders to make the bottom line. And guess what? You may just be that sacrificial lamb at the end of the day. But yeah, we appreciate everybody. Make sure you hit share, the thumbs up, and support us on the post, on the live today. Drop your questions in. We're going to answer some questions. We're going to end the last 15 minutes or so and just answer any real estate questions or any questions in general that you may have about real estate. Shoot me a DM. If you want to get the link to Breaking the Money Code, there are still seats left for in-person tickets in Houston. It's at the Sheraton, right there by the George Bush Hotel, George Bush Airport, and there's virtual tickets as well. So you may be somewhere in the country, but you're like, hey, I gotta learn how to break the money code. I need additional passive income. I need to stand up my side hustle. Because guess what? If you could do one deal a year and make an extra $20,000, $30,000 or more, then why wouldn't you be doing that? The price of you not doing that, the inaction, your cost, you could have been doing this 5 years ago. You know, you've been sitting on the bench. You've been thinking about real estate for 5 years. You could have been doing one deal a year to make you $30K. That's $150,000 of discretionary income you could have brought in the last 5 years. But guess what? You didn't take action. So if you're ready to take action, you don't even have to come to Houston, get the virtual ticket option, set in, come in with the right mindset that you're going to learn this come hell or high water and get the information that you need to start doing these deals and to start taking action. Because real estate will change your life. I am a living, breathing, walking testimony. It will change your life. And that's why I'm so passionate about it. Because I know there's so many people out here seeking it. And it's like, okay, let's get out here and help people, meet people. Because I got 18 months left of service for the Air Force, 20 years. And I'm like, okay, now it's like to continue to keep serving in a different capacity now, which is super dope. Because I with my community, I have I would say over 50% of our veterans and retired military retirees, which is super dope. And coming in and help people level up and meet them where they are and help them to get to where they want to be and we're
Absolutely.
using real estate as the tool, brother.
Man, it don't get no better. And if I could now, and I know you're the military CEO, right? And so I've actually got some military veterans in my group as well. And matter of fact, Coach Jerry, my executive coach, my right hand man, he's a veteran as well. And so there's a member in our group who he was kind of getting jerked around for less for I can't say it I could say it differently, but I'm not gonna. But he was getting jerked around in terms of just on a string, because guys, understand that the society, right, and the way things are, it's just built off of our income, right, and the money that we make, along with contracts, right. So that said, the people that are in control of your income can pull those strings. So we had one of our members who's in the armed services, and he was doing some private security work. And he was told, hey, we're going to place you here. You're going to have a job, for this long. This is how much you're going to make. And so he kind of stopped doing the things that he was doing prior for this opportunity. And then at the drop of a hat, they come in and they say that the congressional funding, the congressional budget wasn't enough. So he's actually going to be done with this job in a week. And so now he's like, yeah, he's like in a panic, and I'm sitting here like, what? I said, oh no, because he used a VA loan to house hack, just like you did, kind of, Johnny, with your first property. And so he's got that house that he's renting right now that he house hacked. He rented it out to somebody, and then he's got his house that he lives in. And I said, well, hold on a second now. There are a lot of programs out here, and options for veterans, especially if you're having difficulty paying your mortgage. Now, the good thing is I'm a foreclosure PhD. So I said, I'm not going to let them just handle you like that, because you're in the go-getter family. You're one of us. And so I ended up getting on the phone with his bank, and I got his mortgage payments suspended for 12 months. And so he was able to save about $27,000, with that. And it won't affect his credit or anything. And that's because we came and we set on the bank's lap, the mandates from the government and the program that they're supposed to use in this scenario. And so there wasn't any ifs, ands, or buts about it. And the funny part about it is he was a new student. So he had learned some, and he called the bank the day before, and they were going nowhere. They wouldn't give him any options. They were going nowhere. And I said, oh yeah, no, I'm calling them. And so, I have a little more information, right? And a little more practice. So that very next day, and I've got the call recorded, actually, I called them and I put them in their place, and I saved him that money, and I took that weight off of his shoulders. And I got to say this, it's part of being in a community, right, where you do have somebody that you can lean on, or have people that day you may not have the energy to get up and to go full bore at it, right? So you need to borrow some energy from your community members, right? And vice versa. They may need to borrow some energy from you that day. And that's the joy of it, because we're supposed to be in a community, and those like minds being around each other, heading towards the same direction. I mean, you can't, there's no better way to do it, in my opinion. So we're here for each other, man. And we're here for this bag. And the difference between rich people and the difference between, with me and Johnny versus, the society at large, is we give opportunity the benefit of the doubt. That's what that's what we've done. We weren't looking for guarantees.
So what you mean? I was just about to say, so you weren't looking for a guarantee?
Right. Yeah. Well, a guarantee is, all that means is that I'm guaranteed to get the short end of the stick. Because really, if it's a guarantee, if somebody is guaranteeing me something, then that means that they're guaranteed to make more off of me, or more off of whatever it is that I'm giving, than I am. So that's why they can guarantee that. Just like a CD at the bank, a CD account, they can guarantee you this little itty bitty, 0.1%, 0.2%, whatever they're giving you, because they're guaranteed to make 7, 8, 9 times that. That's why, right? So when we see a possibility, and that possibility makes sense, then we give it the benefit of the doubt, knowing what we're going to put into it. And that's what's brought us here, really.
Yep. No, 100%. 100%.
Now I see somebody. Oh, my bad, Johnny. You see that they're asking about the virtual tickets there?
Yep. I sent the message in Facebook to
them. Okay.
And dropped it. Cool. Yep.
Yes. Yeah, there's virtual, y'all. Just go on Johnny's link. You can get the in-person, or you can get the virtual. And there's the in-person, we're having 150 people there. So there's, I think, about maybe 30 spots left. It's about 84% full right now for the in-person. So you got to get that if you want it. But if not, that virtual is there as well. So, but my bad, Johnny, I didn't mean to cut you off, brother.
No, you're good. And I was just, just going on what you said, that it's just people got to take in the information and get going, because so many people, they don't have faith and confidence in themselves. And I think that's where the guarantee comes in, is because they've been beat down. They, been, scammed and, just paid for information, didn't have context. I had somebody tell me, they had to dial in 2 hours in advance for a call, because they had to get in 2 hours ahead of time to put their question in the chat in order to hope that it gets answered. So 2 hours before the call, with 500, 600 people on there, to try to hope to get your answer, get your question answered. I'm like, what in the world is that? That's crazy.
Do you know how much they paid for it?
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a whole heck of a lot. Way more than what I charge people.
Oh my goodness. I can't understand, how that almost happens to people, right? We've really got to be better at, and I understand, guys, I do, because there's information coming from every direction.
Yes.
Every direction. And usually we've been to workshops before, right? We've been in courses, we've had mentors, and if we didn't get the results that we were supposed to get, now, yes, we want to take responsibility for that. But a lot of times, though, it really isn't our fault. And it wasn't my fault a lot of times, because I would always come out at the end with one question: how am I going to pay for it? Right? Where am I going to get the money to buy the property? And then where am I going to get the money to do the fix and the repairs to bring up that value? Yeah, I know how to analyze, I know how to find, I know how to negotiate, but where do I get the money? And so that's why the How to Break the Real Estate Money Code event exists, because we're going to give you the keys to that code so that you can shatter that thing in itty bitty little pieces, where the money is the last thing really you're going to be concerned about, because that's really the easy part, man.
Yeah, that's it. That's why I tell people, we use 5th grade math. I got a math minor from University of Alabama. All that calculus and all geometry, trigonometry, algebra, you failed all that stuff good, because guess what? You don't need it. All you need is to know how to add, subtract, multiply, divide. But guess what? Most people don't have the formula.
Right.
If you need the formula on how to add, subtract, and divide, and what the order that you do things, that's it. That's what we're going to be breaking it down. That's simple. And I try to keep it simple, because it doesn't need to be complicated. That the principles, the principles of real estate and how you go about sales and all that is ubiquitous across any industry. It's the same process. But guess what? You got to execute and know that the money is in the follow-up. And you know those things, a little bit more information, you're going to be all right.
Absolutely. And it's good, man, to me anyway. It is good to be wanted, to be needed, really, And maybe that's just a thing with me. Maybe that's something I need to work on. I don't know. But I do know that with real estate and the way that we are able to execute real estate in terms of buying and in terms of selling, we are very wanted and we are very needed, because shelter, it's one of the 3 pillars of survival. So when you're able to really operate with wizardry in that respect, there isn't a place that you can't go, a room that you can't be in, where you will be able to talk to somebody and bring value to that situation. And it doesn't even matter if the situation has nothing to do with real estate. You're still going to be able to bring that value, because it can always boil down to real estate, because it's one of the 3 pillars of survival. We need it: food and water, clothing, and shelter. And we just happen to know magic as it pertains to shelter.
Yep, a little bit of magic. That's all you need. And that's the thing. Like, for some people, it may not be real estate. It may be baking cookies. It may be consulting. It may be running ads. But you got to figure out, it's got to be something, and you got to figure it out. And that's one of the things that we're gonna get ready to wrap this up. But when we talked about it, just the importance of all this, it made me think about just where we are right now from a society and why it's so important to get this figured out. Because like the assets and where people are, like people aren't prepared for retirement. It's like people are gonna have to work literally until they pass away. And that's the crazy part in one of the in the most wealthiest country in the world, that you got people that still don't have the code. They don't know how to build this out in life. And guess what? They're gonna be left to be able to come in and have to be in the position of, guess what, working and trading their time for money because they don't have the information. And that's the thing. When you look at the top 10% of those that own assets and everything that's going on right now in the in the US, you end up seeing a couple trends that pop out, that stand out when it comes down to it, because so many people don't realize that the wealthy own the majority of the assets. The top 10% own about 60% of all assets. And when you dig in and look at the numbers and dive in a little bit closer, you can see just exactly where everybody is at in regards to asset ownership. And one of the things that really stood out to me was when they looked at the top 50%, and I mean the bottom 50%, that right now, the bottom 50%, they only own 2.6% of the assets in the United States. The bottom 50% only owns 2.6% of the assets in the United States right now. And so this was data from the Federal Reserve from this year, that they did a study from looking back at 2023. And so that's the thing that people got to realize, is that we got to get about our business and figure out, how do we break into this money code? How do we make it happen? Because right now, people are failing. People are failing. They don't even know they're failing, because guess what? They're being entertained. They're being coddled. They're being told everything is okay. You got social media. You can see people here dancing on TikTok and doing all this stuff. You're entertained, and you don't even know that everything around you is burning down around you, and you're not even wiser to it. And so that's the thing that when we talk about it, and we seem like we're passionate about it, because it's that important. Because right now, 50% of Americans own only 2% of the assets in the United States, and it's crazy. And guess what? If you don't change how you're approaching your life and what you're doing, it's not going to change for you.
Right. And you know, in closing, you know, I want to say that we feel like, you know, when we know how to do something, then that's when we'll do it, right? But the very first thing is belief. Belief is more important than the knowledge. It's more important than the ability. It's more important than the people that you're around. You have to believe first, because see, when you believe first, then you're going to figure out the how, because you believe. Yeah, you're going to figure out how to do it. And this is what this event is going to do for you. We're going to take the three main enemies of success, and we're gonna crunch them things up in a little ball. I might even stomp on them a little bit. Yeah, and then get them on, get them on up. Ooh, I got that lefty. So listen, the three main enemies of success, though, first is our comfort zone, right? That is an enemy of success. If we are not where we want to be, but we're remaining in our comfort zone, well, dang it, we're going to be laying on that bed of nails, you know, for eternity, you know. And a lot of people don't figure this out until they're greeters at Walmart, because they retired from their job, but they don't got enough money to survive. So, man, I'm telling you, every time I go to Walmart, man, I'm like, oh,
it's sad, bro.
Yeah,
it's sad.
And that's the first thing that comes to mind, you know. So we're going to take that comfort zone and we're going to help you collectively together. We're going to do this because we all do this together. We get comfortable being uncomfortable, and that leads to our comfort in the end. We got to get comfortable being uncomfortable so that we can be comfortable. And then the second thing is this learned helplessness. Really learned helplessness. Yes. Because the very first thing that most people do, and we've been taught this by the Matrix, is when we want to achieve a goal, right? Or when we want something different, the very first thing that we do is we look at every limitation that exists, every obstacle that exists, everything that I can't do, I don't know how to do, I ain't never did before. That's what we look at first, instead of looking at the things that exist that are going to allow us to do it. Right? What is here that is good, that's going to help me to do this? Forget about the limitations, because I will get around, over, or through those things. Those things are inconsequential, honestly. So we're going to teach you how to do that, to stop, you know, seeking out your limitations and start seeking out your abundance, right? And then the third thing is, we always look for the path of least resistance. Like that's our thing. And what the How to Break the Real Estate Money Code is going to do, and this may sound a little corny, but Bruce Lee's got a saying, right? Bruce Lee's got a saying, to be like water, right? And some people don't know what. Yeah, some people don't know, really what that means. Like, be like water. What? Yeah, water is always gonna find its path, right? And the thing about water is it's gonna find that path of least resistance, but it's gonna find it by touching whatever paths are in front of it until it gets to that path of least resistance. And then what water always does is it always gets to its destination. Always.
Yes.
And so we're going to teach you how to go through these difficulties to then be on the path of least resistance and to always get to that destination by breaking the real estate money code, man.
Boom. I can't think of no better way to end, brother. That is it. That is it. You gave so much game, man, but I know you got plenty more for everybody in Houston, as well as I do. I'm looking forward to it, man. Appreciate the opportunity, and we're gonna bless a lot of people next week, man. So make sure, hit me up, hit Gene up, get the link to get your virtual tickets, or guess what? If you want to get in the room, those tickets to Houston be cheap. They got 2 airports. You can get to Houston still, last minute flights for cheap. So get in the room. It is gonna be a transformational journey. And you don't want to miss this, because guess what? You're only 2 months into 2024, and there's a lot of damage to be done to, guess what, become the best CEO of your last name. I'm Johnny Lynum, Gene Boykin. We'll see you guys in Houston, or we'll see you online. Let's go. Let's make some equity happen together, y'all. Peace.
Let's get it. See ya.